Okay, so we're going to look at the first 3 shooters, which can be found in this video, the Las Vegas shooting first actual shots. And this audio can be downloaded, which is what I did, and we're going to look at the first 3 shots on audio software. And with software, with doing some EQ and some amplification, you can hear these shots and really differentiate them, and differentiate between the impact shot and the report of the rifle coming from the muzzle, which sounds like an echo, but it's just the slowness of the sound arriving. And you can also hear the difference between a handgun that's on site with no echo and another rifle that's between Mandalay Bay and the crowd. And so there's 3 guns. Mandalay Bay is the 3rd shooter. That's the 3rd gun to go off. The first one is a handgun in the crowd. Next one is a rifle. 3rd one is the machine gun. And there's a simultaneous shot as well, which I haven't seen anybody talk about yet, but I'm going to show that. So bear with me here. It takes some doing. And apologies to anybody who was there or involved in this with their loved ones getting injured, their family. But this needs to be done. So here's this clip. This is just a short clip for a minute. So there's the first handgun shot. And it's going to play, and there's going to be 2 more handgun shots that we'll hear here, and then there'll be a space of silence, and then the crowd starts dispersing, and then there'll be another handgun shot just after the machine gun starts. And in between, there's going to be another rifle, and I'll point that out. So right there were 9 shots. There was 2 that were very loud, and people thought maybe they were firecrackers, but it turned out they were shots. And there were 7 other rifle shots buried in that sound underneath, and I'll show that to you in a minute. And now we're just going to have the crowd kind of starting to react to that. The song ends, no shots. So here you start seeing the people filing out from probably over wherever those shots landed. So we had a total of 10 shots so far. And here's the reaction. It wasn't just 2. People thought it was just 2 or 3, and it sounded like that. And it wasn't, and it's not somebody in Mandalay Bay measuring their shot, because we can test for the echo on that and compare it to other shots from this device, same location, same device, and there's not the same acoustic signatures. Okay, so at the end there, we hear the machine gun start. Just moments after that, the next handgun shot goes off. I don't know if the other rifle is firing there. I can't pick it up in the software. And so here's the file of that time span. And this is what it looks like here. And in this spot here, we have the very first shot. In this spot here, we have the second shots. This is a quick blast of 9 here. You got the 2 handgun shots, 1 handgun here, 1 handgun here, and then the rest of these are all from a rifle. These lines here, if you see these dotted lines right there, these each indicate a shot. So down at the other end, after everybody starts departing, we have the machine gun beginning to start, and we have another shot here from a handgun, and actually it's simultaneous with probably an impact shot. So what we see here are two shots, although it sounds like one. When you go in, you can see that there were two sounds being picked up here. And if you listen, slow it down, listen very closely, you can differentiate between them. I won't, it's going to be monotonous enough just trying to zero in on these shots, so I won't do that now, but I'm going to show how that is actually the machine gun starting here. And then it keeps going, and there's a impact shot, and a handgun fires in the crowd again, and then the machine gun just kind of takes off, and a lot of other noises. So let's look at this. Here's the audio. There's the first gunshot. There's another round of shots there. And I'm going to bounce down to here because this is all just the crowd responding and the song ending. And so down here is where the machine gun starts and the final handgun shot. So that's when everybody starts running and it's clear that somebody's shooting a really big gun at the crowd. So the first thing we'll look at is this shot here, this very first shot. So you hear that, right? That's a shot being fired in the crowd. We've already measured that the Mandalay Bay is about 0.559 seconds away from So right here, right where this white area ends, there should be an echo. There should be a report from his rifle. So if this is an impact shot from the Mandalay Bay, then there would be a sound here, somewhere in here. Almost always it's right here at 0.559. That's just, I measured a whole bunch of them. That's where it lines up. And there's a lot of shots coming from there. So we know that's going to follow. You're not going to have an impact shot and then not hear that because we know that the rifle was pointed to that direction, so the sound would be following. It was released from the barrel at the same time, and the bullet's just getting there faster because it's traveling faster than the speed of sound. And so there's no echo here. And I'll let you listen to this. And remember, the echo should be somewhere over here, right? So just to reference that real quick, listen to his machine gun. This is what coming off of his gun. Those are coming from the muzzle. Okay, that's the report from the gun. Those aren't impact shots. That's not the bullet hitting. Those those sounds are the machine gun. I'll blow that up a little bit so you can hear it better. This is what we ought to be hearing. If that first shot is a impact shot like the reports are so far in mainstream, that just doesn't add up. I don't see how that's possible. So ignore all the other sounds and just listen to the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's the sound we ought to be hearing if this was an impact shot. At least one of those, boom. But there's nothing here. Now, when on this meter down here, you can see when a shot happens. It's a real good indicator for, okay, maybe that's a shot, because it's going to follow the song musically. It's going to follow the music, and you'll be able to see the raising and lowering of it. When a shot happens, and it's an abnormality, and you'll see it here. And that's, again, there's no abnormality over in this area. So This is a gunshot in the crowd. There's no echo to it. It's somebody who's right there. It's not far from the recording device. And there's a video of somebody in the balcony who probably got hit from this shot. So this is a handgun in the crowd. That's a different shooter. So that would be big news. That's big news right there. I mean, if only the FBI would explain that in some sort of logical way, then people could rest easy. Instead, you have this conspiracy theory stuff, which is just kind of like the whole ridicule horseshit thing people do to try to cover their tracks. Anytime you hear anybody ridiculing anything, either they're just trying to cover their own tracks or they don't know what they're talking about. If they knew what they were talking about, they would supply some facts and not ridicule. They would say, well, that's an interesting take, but here's why it doesn't line up. Instead, all we're getting is ridicule, which tells me these are fucking assholes trying to cover their tracks. And so the ridiculers need to be turned into fucking assholes, because that's what they are. They're not just people laughing or anything. They're using something societally that suppresses information that harms mankind. There's enough of that going on, and we don't need it. So this section, listen to this closely. Right here we have 9 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 of these, this one, it's the handgun, just like this. So it's just probably pointing in a different direction, but it's the same signature as the first one. So whatever's making that noise, to me, sounds like a handgun, but it's something there nearby. And again, no echo following that. So the handgun's firing again twice in the crowd. That's 2 more people probably getting hit, which is another reason the whole ridicule thing really pisses me off. You guys got to knock that off if you're doing it and just show why. Show why, okay? We're a few weeks away from this tragedy, and we're not getting answers. So rather than ridicule, show why. But there's no echo for the first shot. There's no echo for the seconds for the next 2. So there's multiple shooters. Or prove me wrong. Please, I'd love to see it. It'd be nice if there was a clear explanation for this. Okay, so here we have multiple shots. And to show this, I'm going to have to blow this up because it's really subtle. And he's singing kind of in a similar frequency range as those other muffled shots. So you can hear these high frequency ones, but the lower frequency ones, like these 3 here, you can see them getting picked up in the decibel meter. I'll play the whole thing and you'll see them come reading here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. So, best thing to do probably is to increase the decibels here a little bit. I might be able to get it up a little bit more. So I don't know if you can hear that. I can EQ that maybe. Let's try the EQ. So what this is I found that a lot of these shots are ringing off in this 315 to 250, maybe 400 frequency range. So I scooped the rest out, and all we're hearing now is that range, and that's why it sounds really muffled and crazy. But it shows you that there is something being fired there. There is another gun happening. It's not the same sound as the machine gun. There's no echo coming from these. Or the echo that is coming from it is different than what's coming from Mandalay Bay. It's closer. And so you can hear these shots or representation of them here. Dun 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 dun. So it's hard to hear, but they're there. So it's crack, dun dun dun. Crack, dun dun dun. That's your second shooter. So the handgun's number one. This is the handgun. There's your first shot. Here's your second shot. There's 3 shots right there. And this one here is very close, so it's probably another machine gun. I mean, that's 0.53 seconds away. So they fire 2 shots in that period of time, 0.053 seconds. That's probably a machine gun. So this is your second shooter. And you can see the ta-ta, ta-ta-ta coming out from the decibel meter here. And I don't know if you can hear it while the video's playing or not. Sometimes it's getting picked up. Depends on your speakers. You're not going to hear this on a cell phone. So you're going to have to get speakers and a headphone if you want to hear it. But here it is. So there's that. I'll lower this down a little bit. That's the second shooter. Third shooter. Right here. Third shooter is Mandalay Bay. The third shooter, the third gun to fire came from Mandalay Bay. So these sounds are picked up in a lot of different recordings, and you can kind of hear that. But all right, so this area here, I'll pull in a little bit. The song's playing, the crowd is already leaving, and the machine gun starts firing actually right. That's the first shot I can hear. In order to find that shot, I had to really EQ the hell out of it and amplify it. I'll show you. It's going to be hard to hear, easier if you put it on your own software and listen to it directly from the software, where the quality will be better. But then, so the machine gun's boom, 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 starting here, and then there's another handgun shot from the crowd here. There's an impact shot that happens, and the machine gun then just kind of keeps going and firing. So here's this. So watch this line here. You'll see the decibel meter move. Watch for this line here. You'll see the decibel meter move. And I think that's the first shot. And in the undertones, you can hear the machine guns beginning around there. And then right here, you have the handgun firing at the same time that the machine gun has already started. So one of them is probably an impact shot. Even a machine gun isn't going to send bullets 0.1. We don't have any. It's actually .004, 4/1000th of a second. We don't have any other, I don't know if there's any guns that can do that, but we don't have any other guns or video or measurements when you measure from strike to strike of any other sound that's that close to each other. So even if we go from here to there, let's see what that is. 0.015. So there's no other shots that are coming off that close. The rest of these are all spaced apart, you know, kind of very similarly when he's firing regularly. 0.018. 0.017. 0.1. Yeah, 0.017. 0.012. 0.06. 0.015. That's up for debate. The one sounds just like a handgun, and one sounds like the impact, but I don't know what the deal is there. So if you watch the decibel meter and you listen closely with everything scooped out except for the 315 frequency, you'll hear pooh, one shot there, which is probably him just pulling the trigger once and then he lays down on it. And that next one can be heard right here. Here you have these other impact shots, but there's probably a poof in there too. You got another sound here. Here, you know, they just continue. The machine gun just keeps firing. So what you're listening for here is that 315 frequency range and watching the decibel meter to see where these shots are firing. And you can also notice that it's not matching the song at all. So these aren't things coming from the song. So here comes boom. Here comes again. Boom. Boom. And then it's off to the races. So that's the first shot right there, that boom right here. You can see there's something reading, it's picking up. And when you listen to it, we have it scooped out right now on the EQ, but just so that you can hear a clear representation of something happening there. But that's the third shooter from Mandalay Bay. Then you have the second shooter firing simultaneously, in my opinion. And then right here, you can hear the machine gun starting, and I'll pop that out for you. Pop. Pop. Right here, you're going to hear another pop. All right, we're going to jack this up, make it real obvious. So that at the end, that's the machine gun from Mandalay Bay. It's a pretty distinct sound. That's the sound of the muzzle. That's not the impact shot. And I think that one of these, so there's two shots here. This one here, I think that's an impact shot. This one here, I think, is the handgun right in the crowd. You know, like after he starts firing, they threw up another shot and probably got out of there. But So this do here, and there's a smaller one here, and there's one here, and then there's the bigger splash sound, the higher sound, and then the machine gun really kicks in. These are before this shot here, and they're happening simultaneously. So we have 3 shooters. The first one is the handgun. Let me fix this. I'll run it down just real quick. So here's your first shooter. Your first shooter fires again. This is the handgun. I'm just calling it. Maybe it's a different kind of gun, but it's a gun right in the crowd, no echo. No parabolic reflection or any of that. This isn't bouncing off of any buildings. And the other thing about that is sound waves cannot generate more energy when they hit something. So even if you have a room situated, best case scenario, to create reverb and echo, every time it hits something, it loses momentum. It loses force. It's hitting something and losing energy. And so it gets quieter. So you're not going to have something that's all of a sudden louder than the source of the sound. So then here we have the second shooter. Pop, 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 pop. 7 shots, 9 shots in total happen in this flurry. And that's what caused all the people to start barreling out of there. Like right here, they're realizing, holy shit, somebody near me just got shot. And right here, they're like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And then right here is when it starts again. And whoever that was in the crowd probably fired another shot. We need to find these other 2 guys. And so, you want to call this a conspiracy theory? I think you're a fucking asshole. Okay? Because this is not just some crazy event that happened. This is something that, legitimately happened a few weeks ago that we're not getting answers to. There's very many inconsistencies. This is just one of the many. And we need to get to the bottom of this. If our entire country isn't freaked the fuck out about this, why not? Why not? The mainstream media isn't going to report anything that they're told not to. So these are very clear questions. There's 3 guns here. Everyone who was near these areas as witnesses, they all reported seeing it. A lady goes down. There's video of that. There's a wealth of information and evidence supporting that there are 3 shooters going on here. And so we need to either see concrete information as to why this is wrong, how you account for this. Let's see, prove that you can account for this. And if it can be accounted for, if it wasn't a shooter, you'll definitely be able to find that information. If it was somebody building something nearby, or firecrackers, or a helicopter, all that information will be definitely available. None of this is helicopters. None of this is somebody building anything, because you can hear it. So there's somebody falling linked to this first shot, or one of these other 2. So we know these are guns in the crowd. There's somebody who got hit from these, and there's no sound of the machine gun coming from afar, the report of the muzzle coming out of the barrel. There's nothing of that. So this is in the crowd, not an impact shot. And then this other gun going on here is a different sound than the sound of the machine gun that's being used down here. This is actually louder than this. These shots are actually picking up louder than the machine gun shots. You have a lot of noise here, so it makes the file look higher, but that's not accurate. It's this is picking up better, and measuring the tiny bit of echo that you do get, or the report of the barrel coming in, then it's closer. It's about 0.285. So and these come out at 0.559. So it's probably between Mandalay Bay and the crowd, maybe by the Luxor. So that's what I got. I hope it helps.